The Conte di Cavour class was conceived in response to the French Courbet-class dreadnoughts, a requirement that made them slower but more heavily protected than Italy's first dreadnought, Dante Alighieri. The vessels measured 554 feet 2 inches along the waterline and 577 feet 5 inches overall. Their beam was 91 feet 10 inches, with a draft of 30 feet 6 inches. At normal load, Conte di Cavour class ships displaced 23,458 tons, rising to 25,489 tons at deep load. Each carried a complement of 31 officers and 969 enlisted men. Propulsion consisted of 3 Parsons steam turbine sets, with 2 driving the outer propeller shafts and 1 powering the 2 inner shafts. Steam was supplied by 20 Bleckenden water tube boilers, 8 oil-fired and 12 capable of burning both coal and fuel oil. The class was designed for a top speed of 22.5 knots from 31,000 shaft horsepower, but Conte di Cavour did not quite achieve this during trials, reaching only 22.2 knots despite slightly exceeding rated output at 31,278 standard horsepower. Fuel capacity allowed a cruising range of 4,800 nautical miles at 10 knots. The principal armament of the Conte di Cavour class was made up of 13 12-inch Model 1909 guns arranged in 5 centerline turrets, with a twin turret superfiring over a triple turret both forward and aft, and an additional triple turret positioned amidships. The secondary battery comprised 18 4.7-inch guns installed in single casemate mounts along the sides of the hull. For protection against torpedo boats, the ships were equipped with 14 3-inch guns. 13 of these were intended for mounting atop the main turrets, though they could also be placed in as many as 30 different positions, including locations on the forecastle and upper decks. In addition, the class was armed with 3 submerged 17.7-inch torpedo tubes, fitted 1 on each beam and a third at the stern. The Conte di Cavour class was protected by a full-length waterline armor belt, reaching a maximum thickness of 9.8 inches amidships and tapering to 5.1 inches toward the stern and 3.1 inches toward the bow. The ships featured 2 armored decks. The main deck measured 0.94 inches on the flat, increasing to 1.6 inches on the sloped sections that tied into the main belt. The second armored deck was 1.2 inches thick. Gun turrets were fitted with 11 inches of armor on their faces and 9.4 inches on their sides. Barbette armor varied from 5.1 inches to 9.1 inches in thickness, while the forward conning tower was enclosed by 11-inch thick armor plating. Soon after the conclusion of the First World War, the number of 3-inch low-angle guns was cut to 13, all of which were mounted atop the main turrets, while 6 additional 3-inch anti-aircraft guns were fitted abreast the aft funnel. 2 license-produced 1.6-inch AA guns were also added on the forecastle deck. In 1925, the foremast was replaced by a 4-legged mast and relocated forward of the funnels. The rangefinders were modernized, and the ship was adapted to operate a Machi M18 seaplane carried on the amidships turret. At roughly the same period, a fixed aircraft catapult was installed on the port side of the forecastle. Conte di Cavour entered a major reconstruction program in October 1933 at the Cantieri Riuniti dell'Adriatico shipyard in Trieste, a process that continued until June 1937. A new bow section was attached ahead of the original stem, increasing her overall length by 33 feet 10 inches to 611 feet 7 inches, while her beam grew to 93 feet 10 inches. At deep load, the ship's draft rose to 32 feet 10 inches. These modifications raised her displacement to 26,560 tons at standard load and 29,600 tons at deep load. The ship's complement expanded to 1,260 officers and enlisted personnel. 2 propeller shafts were removed, and the original turbines were replaced with 2 Baluzzo-geared steam turbines rated at 75,000 standard horsepower. The boiler plant was renewed with 8 Yarrow boilers. In operational service, Her top speed reached roughly 27 knots, and she possessed a cruising range of 6,400 nautical miles at 13 knots. The primary guns were rebored to a caliber of 12.6 inches, while the amidships turret and the torpedo tubes were eliminated. All previous secondary and anti-aircraft weapons were replaced with 12 4.7-inch guns mounted in 6 twin turrets and 8 3.9-inch anti-aircraft guns, also arranged in twin mounts. Additionally, the ship received 12 Breda 1.5-inch light AA guns in 6 twin mounts, along with 12.52-inch Breda M31 anti-aircraft machine guns, likewise fitted in twin installations. In 1940, the half-inch machine guns were replaced by twin-mounted .8-inch anti-aircraft guns. The tetrapod mast was removed and replaced by a new forward conning tower, protected by armor 10.2-inch thick. Mounted atop this conning tower was a fire control director equipped with 2 large stereoscopic rangefinders, each with a base length of 23.6 feet. Conte di Cavour, named in honor of the statesman Count Camillo Benso di Cavour, was laid down at the Arsenale di La Spezia in La Spezia on August 10, 1910, and launched exactly 1 year later. She was completed on April 1, 1915, and served as a flagship in the southern Adriatic Sea during World War I. Despite this role, she saw no combat and spent only limited time at sea. Admiral Paolo Taun di Revel, the Italian Navy's chief of staff, was convinced that Austro-Hungarian submarines and mine layers could operate with great effectiveness in the confined waters of the Adriatic. He regarded the danger posed by these underwater threats to his capital ships as too severe to risk active fleet operations. As a result, Revel chose to enforce a blockade from the comparatively safer southern Adriatic using the battle fleet, while lighter forces, including MAS torpedo boats, carried out raids against Austro-Hungarian vessels and shore facilities. At the same time, Revel kept his battleships in reserve to face the Austro-Hungarian battle fleet should it attempt a decisive engagement. In 1919, she sailed to North America, calling at ports in the United States as well as Halifax, Canada. The vessel was largely inactive in 1921 due to manpower shortages, and underwent a refit at La Spezia between November and March 1922. Conte di Cavour and Giulio Cesare supported Italian operations against Corfu in 1923, after an Italian general and his staff were killed along the Greek-Albanian frontier. Italian leader Benito Mussolini, who had been seeking a justification to seize Corfu, ordered Italian forces to occupy the island. Conte di Cavour shelled the island's main town with her 3-inch guns, killing 20 civilians and injuring 32. In 1924, she escorted Victor Emmanuel III and his wife aboard Dante Alighieri during a state visit to Spain, and after returning was placed in reserve until 1926, when in April she carried Mussolini on a voyage to Libya. The ship was again laid up in reserve from 1927 until 1933, when her major reconstruction began. Early in the Second World War, Conte di Cavour and her sister ship participated in the Battle of Calabria, also called the Battle of Punta Stilo, on July 9, 1940. They formed part of the 1st Battle Squadron under the command of Admiral Inigo Campioni when they encountered major units of the British Mediterranean Fleet. The British force was escorting a convoy from Malta to Alexandria, while the Italians had just completed escorting another from Naples to Benghazi in Italian Libya. Vice Admiral Andrew Cunningham, commanding the Mediterranean Fleet, sought to place his ships between the Italians and their base at Taranto. The opposing fleets sighted one another in mid-afternoon, and the Italian battleships opened fire at 3:53 p.m. from a range of nearly 29,000 yards. The leading British battleships, HMS Warspite and Malaya, returned fire about a minute later. 3 minutes after firing began, shells from Giulio Cesare started to straddle Warspite, prompting the British ship to make a slight turn and increase speed at 4 p.m. to disrupt Italian aiming. Almost simultaneously, a shell from Warspite hit Giulio Cesare at a range of roughly 26,000 yards. Unsure of the extent of the damage, Campioni ordered his battleships to turn away in the face of superior British numbers, and they disengaged successfully. Repairs to Giulio Cesare were completed by the end of August, and both ships made unsuccessful attempts to intercept British convoys to Malta in August and September. On the night of the 11th of November 1940, Conte di Cavour lay quietly at anchor in Taranto harbor when the darkness shattered. She, along with other warships, came under attack from 21 Fairey Swordfish torpedo bombers launched from the British aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious. The ship's gunners managed to shoot down one Swordfish moments after it released its torpedo, but the weapon detonated beneath B turret at 11:15 p.m., disabling the main bow pump and sealing her fate. 12 minutes later, her captain urgently requested tugboats to beach the ship on a nearby 39-foot sandbank, but Admiral Bruno Brivanesi, commander of the 5th Battleship Division, overruled the plea until the opportunity had slipped away. Forced to attempt salvation later, Conte di Cavour was grounded instead on a deeper 56-foot sandbank at 4:45 a.m. the following morning. She first settled on an even keel, then lurched into a terrifying 50-degree list before finally coming to rest at 8 a.m. with an 11.5-degree list. By then, only her superstructure and gun turrets remained visible above the water, grim silhouettes marking her defeat. Among the 3 battleships sunk in the raid, Conte di Cavour was assigned the lowest priority for salvage, and for months she lay neglected, with little progress made. When work finally began, the immediate task was to seal the gaping wounds in her hull, after which her guns and portions of the superstructure were stripped away to ease her burden. Temporary bulwarks were welded along the upper hull to keep the sea at bay, and in May 1941 the long process of pumping out the flooded interior commenced. Nearly 15,000 tons of water were expelled before Conte di Cavour was finally refloated on June 9th, after which she was moved into the former Austro-Hungarian floating dry dock Go 12 on July 12th. It soon became clear that the damage ran far deeper than first believed, and months of makeshift repairs were required before she was fit to make the journey to Trieste for permanent restoration, a process that dragged on until the 22nd of December. By September 1942, her guns could once again be brought to life, but the replacement of her entire electrical system dragged on, and the Navy used the delays to introduce modifications aimed at reducing the risk of flooding, lessons paid for dearly during the attack. Additional plans called for replacing her secondary and anti-aircraft batteries with a dozen 5.3-inch dual-purpose guns in twin mounts, 12 2.6-inch weapons, and 23.79 anti-aircraft guns. In June 1943, however, repair work was abruptly halted, with an estimated 6 months still needed to complete Conte di Cavour, as resources were diverted to the rapid construction of smaller, urgently required vessels. When Italy surrendered to the Allies on September 8th, she fell into German hands and was reduced to an inert hulk. Damaged again during an air raid on February 17, 1945, she finally capsized on February 23rd. Raised shortly after the war's end, Conte di Cavour met her final fate when she was scrapped in 1946. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you love World War II, you should join my free community in the video description and pinned comment to learn even more and talk to other history lovers.